What happens when two of country music's biggest personalities collide on live television? What begins as a routine interview can quickly spiral into chaos, as Keith Urban and Kelly Clarkson proved. Keith's appearance on The Kelly Clarkson Show was supposed to be standard, promote his latest album, share stories from behind the scenes, and connect with Kelly's audience. But a single question ignited a firestorm that nobody anticipated. "So, Keith, I have to ask you about something that's been a hot topic lately," Kelly began, leaning forward with her familiar warm smile. "There's been discussion in the industry about authenticity in country music, and I'm curious, how do you feel about artists who some say have strayed from the genre's roots?" Keith's easygoing posture stiffened instantly. His fingers drummed lightly on the armrest and his gaze sharpened. "Kelly, that's a loaded question. What exactly are you asking?" Unfazed, Kelly continued. "I'm curious about how you respond to critics suggesting that some artists, yourself included, are moving too far into pop. There was an article last month questioning your recent collaborations, wondering if you're still country or if you've crossed over completely." The audience, previously relaxed, sensed the sudden shift. Keith leaned back, silence stretching in the studio as the hum of lights filled the pause. Finally, he spoke, his voice carrying a sharp edge. "Kelly, I find it interesting you'd bring up an article like that without asking me first if I wanted to discuss it. This feels less like an interview and more like an ambush." Kelly blinked in surprise. "Keith, I didn't mean it that way. I was just trying to have an honest conversation about the evolution of country music. I thought you'd have insights to share." "Address what exactly?" Keith's voice rose slightly, his accent becoming more pronounced with frustration. "That people want to box me in? That success automatically strips me of authenticity?" The tension thickened. Kelly shifted in her seat, realizing the conversation had taken a sharp turn. "Keith, that's not what I'm suggesting. I just wanted to explore industry trends. My perspective, Kelly?" Keith's laugh was dry, bitter. "I've been making music for over 20 years. Grammy wins, millions of albums sold. I've stayed true to my music the whole time. And now I'm supposed to defend my choices because of some critic's article? That's insulting." The audience went silent. Kelly inhaled deeply. "I wasn't asking you to defend anything. I just thought your perspective could shed light on what's happening in country music." "A discussion?" Keith snapped. "When was the last time anyone questioned your authenticity as a pop artist? It rarely happens, right? The real issue isn't authenticity. Country music is obsessed with policing its own. Stay in your lane, sound a certain way, dress a certain way, and heaven forbid you evolve." Kelly's tone became more firm. "Keith, I think you're reading into this. I asked a legitimate question, not attacking you." "Weren't you, though?" Keith shot back. "Because that's exactly how it feels. And it's always the ones trying something new who get criticized." The conversation escalated. Kelly straightened, meeting his intensity. "Maybe the issue isn't the question, it's your interpretation. I've interviewed many country artists, and nothing like this has ever happened." Keith leaned forward, jaw clenched. "So now it's my fault? I'm the problem because I didn't appreciate being blindsided? That's rich, Kelly, really rich." Kelly's face flushed slightly, but she stood firm. "Keith, this has gone off track. Neither of us intended it to escalate." "Oh, I think you knew exactly where it was going," Keith said, raising his voice. "You had the article ready, your questions lined up. Probably thought I'd sit here and give a polite answer. Sorry, I'm not playing that game." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Kelly tried to regain control. "Keith, I didn't bring you here to ambush you. I've always asked thoughtful questions. If I offended you, it wasn't my intention." "Intentions don't matter," Keith snapped. "You put me in front of cameras and asked me to justify my choices. Do you know how insulting that is?" Kelly's voice hardened. "I asked a simple question. You turned it into a personal attack." Keith stood abruptly, nearly tipping his chair. The audience gasped. "Defensive? Lady, I've been in this business longer than you've been singing. I don't defend my music to anyone, especially not someone who hasn't walked in country music's shoes." Kelly rose, eyes blazing. "Excuse me? I may not be a country artist, but I know music. And I know authenticity. Right now, I see someone so insecure he can't handle a question without melting down." The studio froze. Keith's voice dropped dangerously low. "Insecure? Let's talk about a host who tears down successful artists to feel relevant. Who probably practiced that question in the mirror to make sure it sounded innocent. Kelly shot back coldly. You are way out of line. I will not tolerate it. I've never been humiliated on live television, Keith said. So I guess we're both having new experiences today. The tension was suffocating. Kelly clenched her hands. Keith's face was flushed. She forced a calm, measured voice. Keith, this interview is over. You need to figure out why a simple question triggered you. It says more about your insecurities than my question ever could. Keith laughed harshly. Insecurities? You tried to embarrass me, then blame me. You're right. The interview is over. Not because I need to calm down, but because I won't listen to garbage from someone who doesn't respect me or my music. If you feel disrespected, look at how you're treating your host, Kelly fired back. Your behavior is unprofessional. Unprofessional? Keith scoffed. Ambushing a guest? Creating controversy? Acting innocent? Kelly's voice was firm. Keith, I've built my career on respect. I've never embarrassed a guest. The fact you think otherwise says everything about your mindset, Keith sneered. Your producers are thrilled. Already planning edits for drama. This is exactly what you wanted with that article. Kelly's expression flickered with hurt. Disgusting. To accuse me and my team of ratings stunts is insulting. Do you really think so little of us? I think you're a smart businesswoman. You know controversy sells. Don't play innocent, Kelly's eyes flared. If asking about industry trends pushes your buttons, examine why. Maybe critics have a point, Keith stepped closer. Don't validate them. And don't attack your host, Kelly said. I've had Dolly Garth Carey, gracious and professional. No tantrums, Keith laughed bitterly. Compare me to others. That's all country music ever does. Authenticity, respect, comparison. Maybe it's about handling criticism, Kelly said. Right now, you're proving every critic's point. Keith's face darkened. What did you say? You're proving their point. Acting like someone who forgot where they came from. I haven't forgotten anything, Keith growled. But this is supposed to be an interview, not a trial. Who gave you the right to judge me? I'm judging your behavior, not your music. It's unacceptable. You came on my show, and when I asked a legitimate question, you attacked me and my integrity. Keith shook his head. Inviting a guest and immediately bringing up criticism. That's an ambush, Kelly countered. The problem is your ego. You think success puts you above discussion? Keith's voice rose. Different perspectives? That's gatekeeping disguised as music criticism, and you're validating it. Kelly's voice cracked. This is why I asked. To have a real conversation. You're melting down instead. A meltdown? Keith exclaimed. If defending my music is a meltdown, I'll do it every day. I will not sit quietly while people question my authenticity. There's a difference between passion and attacking your host, Kelly said. You're proving you can't handle even simple perspectives. Keith ran a hand through his hair, looking momentarily defeated. Then his resolve hardened. You want to act like the victim? Go ahead. I won't let you paint me as unstable. Then what are you going to do? Kelly challenged. From here, you look like someone expecting soft questions and blowing up. Keith's voice was quiet, filled with resolve. I'm walking away before it gets worse. Leave with whatever dignity I have left. You weren't ambushed. You were interviewed, Kelly insisted. Keith laughed bitterly. I used to respect you. I thought you understood what it meant to be an artist. Clearly, I was wrong. Kelly's expression softened briefly, then hardened. Well, Keith, the feeling's mutual. The Keith Urban I thought I was interviewing wouldn't have turned a professional conversation into personal attacks. You still don't get it, Keith said sadly. You brought up criticism without warning. That's putting me on trial. And maybe you needed to be put on trial, Kelly shot back. Maybe you needed hard questions instead of coasting on charm. Keith's eyes burned. There it is, the real Kelly Clarkson. The one who thinks successful artists need to be humbled. That's not what I think, Kelly said firmly. But I do think artists should be able to discuss their work like adults. Keith's voice rose. Adults don't ambush each other with loaded questions. Adults don't create controversy at someone else's expense. Adults don't throw tantrums. Kelly's voice matched his. Adults don't throw tantrums. Keith shook his head. You thought I'd be an easy target. You thought you could create a moment. That's ridiculous. You couldn't handle a question about criticism, Kelly said. Simple question? Keith scoffed. You came loaded for bear. Your producer's pushing, Don't act innocent. Kelly's eyes flared. Everyone on my team wanted this to go well. The only person who ruined it was you. Is that what you'll tell people? Keith asked. I'll tell the truth, Kelly said. You attacked me personally. Turned a friendly conversation into hostility. Keith's expression softened into disappointment. You're right. The conversation is over. Not because I can't handle criticism, but because I won't participate in this spectacle. He turned to leave, footsteps echoing. Kelly stood alone, chest rising and falling, whispering, Well, I guess that's a wrap. We'll be right back after this commercial break. But as the cameras cut and lights dimmed, it was clear. This wasn't just the end of an interview. It was the end of any professional relationship between two artists who had burned every bridge in the most public way possible.